Hey everyone, how are you on this fine Tuesday? Um, so you're here with Coach Justin, Springfield, Oregon Elements Jiu-Jitsu. We're gonna do the some more turtle stuff. Um, Basically working on some turtle escapes today, and try to re-show a move or an attack that I messed up on yesterday, as well as a second attack, and what you should be thinking about when someone does these moves to you. Okay, so the first move we're gonna do today plays off uh, an old move that I would have taught um, before. So it's a low single leg is what it's called. So um, when you're doing stand up in wrestling, right? There's a takedown called a single leg where you shoot in on an opponent. You'll grab a leg and then you use that leg to do various things that you want to do. Do a thing called run the pipe. You can lift it up and go into a high ankle pick. Um, but sometimes when you do that, your opponent drops to the mat. When they do, that's when you want to try to go for a low single. And depending on your physical abilities, it may be easier for some than others. So what a low single is, for those of you who missed that earlier portion of side control escapes, is I'm actually going to be grabbing a leg. Okay, so remember, when someone is on top of you, you're in turtle position, and someone is on top of you, most likely they're going to have one hand underneath and one hand over. They may switch to two over. Most of the time they won't switch to double unders like this. So they may go two over like this. But generally, you want one over and one under like this. All right. So what that does is that leaves you to pick a side and go for a single. Now, the best side to go for the single on is going to be the side that the under is on. So if I go over under here, then this is the side I want to go on because they're not blocking this direction, right? But if I'm here and they've got this arm inside here, and I try to go this way, I can use this to stop them, to try to push into them with my arm to get them to move that way. So when you think about the low single, you always want to think about where their arms are and how you're going to deal with that, okay? So we're going to play from this arm is over and this arm is under. Sorry, this arm's under and this arm's over, so you guys can see the angle from the camera. Okay, so my opponent I put myself into the turtle position, and my opponent is on top of me. And he's dealing with me correctly. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna reach inside this leg. This is never a good idea. You reach inside in between the legs. That is a crucifix position waiting to happen, and we don't want that. What we want the outside single. So I'm going to take my outside arm, the one that's overhooked. See? So you see how this arm is behind this arm? His right arm is behind my left arm. So I have lots of freedom here to come around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach for that leg, and I'm going to grab it. And depending on where my head ends up will depend on how I finish this, okay? So if my head is on the outside, right, if my head ends up out here, then I'm gonna wanna use my hands to pull the lower leg inside. If my head ends up inside, then I wanna pull it outside, okay? That may sound weird just out loud, but in practice, it makes sense. So I go in with this low single, and to finish the low single, then I'm going to go inside. I'm not going to go deep inside. I'm just going to go in towards the knee like this. See, if I want to get, when I get my hook I want this side deep, and then I want this side shallow. All right. So this side deep looks like this, all the way up as much to my elbow as I can get it, and then this side shallow. If I try to go here, see how I'm already like it looks dangerous, right? If I'm trying to get in between his legs this deep, this is no good for me. Okay. You never want to try to go deep in between the legs. You want to go shallow in between the legs. The best way to go shallow in between the legs is to go deep around the outside of the legs. So I'm going to go out around the outside leg, and then I'm going to pull this leg in. Now, once I have control of this leg, I'm actually going to reach and grab this ankle and pull this inside while I drive with my shoulders. Okay, so it looks like this. So I'm here, I pull inside. See how it just dumps him right over? Because I pulled his leg through like this. So I pulled his leg out and through, which is just taking his base off that corner. And then I drive into that side and he falls over. Okay, so I'll show you that one more time from that position, and then I'll show you the other position, which might be a little more likely in the scenario because of position. Okay. Follow the right position. Go. Okay. So once again, I grab here, right? And so I'm going to turn inside this time. So here, now, the great thing is that I don't actually have to do a whole lot with this inside hand. I just reach and grab this ankle and I pull it in. When I pull it in, I'm lifting, and then see how Bob just goes right over like that. So it looks so, from a human perspective, the first one we did is turn the foot in like this. So I reach around, I grab this leg, and I reach through, and I grab, and my head's out here, right? And so I'm gonna pull this leg in like this, and then watch. That's how that works. Okay, that's one. The other one. So I'm here, he grabs my leg and turns it this way, which causes me to fall sideways, back. Okay? So either of those work in the low single scenario, but you have to remember, you have to be aware of, making sure not to put your hand in between the legs, right? And you also want to make sure not to where your head is, because you can't do certain moves in certain ways. Like if I try to do with my head on the inside, try to pull the other way, it's going to be real hard. Okay, and I'll kind of show you what I mean, specifically to the outside. So the inside is a little easier. The outside, your head on the outside is a little, your head on the outside is a little easier than your head on the inside, okay? So, yeah. So think of it like this. If I'm here and my head's on the inside, right? This arm, this outside arm here, is very far away from his leg. So to try to reach back in automatically turns my head to the outside, see? So if I'm trying to reach back in, so it makes sense from here, now that I'm holding this, right, to pull that direction. It'd be kind of hard for me to pull this way. You can see how far out my arm has to go? But if I'm holding here and I just reach in, I can drive with my shoulder and pull that leg out. Okay? If I try to do it, like I said, from the other way, I'm reaching real far. Now, the same thing is true if my head's on the inside. So if my head's on the inside and I try to pull through, right? If I try to pull this way, it's real easy for them to to get the right weight over their leg, and you don't have the right leverage. Okay, so maybe I'll turn the baseball the other way so you can see what I mean when I say that. So if I'm here, right? So I'm here, this leg, it's much easier for me to pull this leg and drive than it would be to try to reach in and pull this leg. And see, once I turn to grab this leg, my head automatically moves to the other side. See how that works? So if I get this leg and do a low single, just get this outside leg and pull and drive, they're just going to go over. So same thing with the head on the outside, my shoulder's in, so it's easier to pull that way and drive. Okay, but I will say most of the time you'll end up with your head on the inside. It's just safer. It's just safer to end up with your head on the inside. And actually in transition, you may end up there as well. So like if I'm here, right, and Bob on this, I'm giving a little more stability here. So if I'm here and I'm, got this over under, and I go to move to one side. So let's say it's because of the positioning of my arms. It's always going to be easier for me to move to the side I have underhooked. So like this side would be easier for me to move to. It's harder for me to move to this side because I have to take this out and I have to take this out, right? But if I want to move to that side, I only have to take this out, and then I can just slide, and this one automatically comes out, right? So if I'm here and I want to go this side, if I take this out to go here, now I've got that double under, right? And now, because that double under, I'm actually in a more precarious position. I'm farther away from where I'm going, and it's easier for my opponent to reach this arm out when I'm trying to transition and grab that leg. Guess where I put myself? In a low single, right? But if I go the other way, so if I'm already here like this, and I want to transition, it's real easy for me to just do that, okay? And see how much farther up I was when I made that move than if I tried to come from the other side. So it's common in the turtle position that you have to be aware of which direction you want to go. It's always easier to go to the side that you have underneath your opponent's arm, okay? So if I've got this hand underneath his head, this hand over here underneath his head, and this hand over here underneath this here, it's going to be much easier for me to just take this out, and then sit out like this than it would be if I were here, trying to control off to the front here, and to try to spin around and really do this whole thing. The farther I have to go to get there. Because of that, moves are a little predictable when you're going from a front headlock position to a more side-oriented position. So you'll notice that even when I'm here, right, this is the leg you're trying to single leg. Okay, this is the leg you're trying to single leg. You're already here like this. If I get this close, you should be not trying to grab behind my thigh particularly, but behind my thigh and on the inside of my calf right here, the bottom part of my calf right here. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab that, you're gonna pull it this way, and then you're just gonna drive, boom, boom, boom. Then you're gonna sweep over that way, and then I'm gonna be on my back. See, so turtle position is pretty versatile, especially if you can do it from the front position and know exactly what you're going for. Just because we like to defend real tight doesn't mean that that's always the best way to do this. Okay, it's something that I do, but it also, if you're up too much, you can lean yourself to the chokes that we talked about, the 10-finger choke, and I'll show that It's actually a rolling loop choke. I thought it was a spinning loop choke. I thought it was a rolling loop choke. So I'll fix that today when we go over that. And so when your opponent tries to transition, this is one of those moves that you would use that would work best in that. If you're trying to go for the single, like if I'm straight on like this and I'm just here and you try to get this, I'll go on this side. If you try to get this, reach for this, there's a good chance I'm just gonna sprawl back like this. And that's gonna take that away. I'm automatically gonna put all my pressure on your back, right? But if you wait for me to move, you should be able to anticipate which side I'm gonna move to because it's the side that I have the overhook on. So if I've got the overhook here, you know there's a good chance I'm gonna go to that side because it's much easier for me to just go like this and sweep around than it is to try to go the other way. Now that doesn't mean that people don't go the other way, but it's just more intuitive to go that way. And remember when they do, that's when you reach down for the single, okay? So remember with the single, you're aiming for the lower part, and most likely your head will be inside. So if your head's inside, right, you're gonna grab near the ankle and you're gonna pull the ankle toward you, straightening that leg out, okay? And just this, come on, open up, there we go. So the lower part here, I'm gonna grab that ankle and I'm gonna pull that ankle while I push, and that's gonna straighten this leg out, and he's gonna start going that direction. His body's just gonna move that way. So I'll show you again on myself. So if I'm here and somebody goes low single on me and starts to pull my shin back, okay? So, and in an ideal world, you're already pushing on my stomach. So I'm forward like this, and I'm actually coming back. So now my weight is on my heels, and then you push me this way. Now my weight's off that leg, and you pull this leg out. See how you pull this leg out, boom, and now I'm on my butt, and I'm back to the side and come around. We're good there. Okay, so that's our first move. And for those of you watching on YouTube, being a reactionary move, that's a water movement. Okay, it's one of my favorite moves to do in that scenario. This next one requires a little more physical prowess, and it's an open and closed kind of scenario. It is a sit through, and then you spin around. So this is a drill. This is a drill you can do at home without anybody. So if you don't have a partner, this is something you can do, and it's a wrestler sit out, is what it's called, and it works. It works pretty well if you have the athleticism and the prowess to pull it off, and it can take you from being underneath the turtle to being on top of the turtle. Okay, so the movement looks like this. So we're here in the turtle position. Okay, I'm going to reach up, create space on the arm here. Then I'm going to reach across, right? I'm going to reach across. So the legs are here. I'm going to reach across so I'm on the other side of those legs. Okay, with this hand here. I'm going to tripod up, get up on this leg here. I'm going to sit out like this. All right, so I'm sitting out like this. Now you have two options here. From here, you can either turn the corner, meaning that you can come up this way, or you can, if you have the leg dexterity to do it, you can actually come over and around this way. So I'm going to move this out of the way. Get this other half in. So I sit out like this, and I'm up and I'm through, and then I'm going to swivel my hips and come up and over like this. Okay. And this is a basic move that you can practice at home just by yourself. You can just sit out and then return and sit out and return. And it's good for your shoulders. And there's a couple other moves that you use something like this for as well. So when you sit out, you just sit out, then you can sit back. So you can do this from here, like this. And so what you're going to do then is you're going to paw step, sit out. I have a lot of room. So sit out. You're gonna come back. All right. Then you're gonna paw, cross, step, sit out. And when you do this, try to open this up because that's what's going to be useful. You need a little bit of room for this. I thought I had enough, but apparently I need to move Bob too to be more accurate. So this is about 8 feet, I'd say. I'm 6'1", so you can gauge how much space you need. Plus, size is an issue. So if you're smaller, you don't necessarily need as much room. So we're here, and I'm going to basically replace. So hand replaces hand, step through, sit back, come through, square up, hand in hand, sit through, like so, square up, and there you go. Okay. So if you want to work out, it's a good workout. It's good for your legs. It's good for your shoulders. It's good for opening things up and just generally getting the move down. Like I said, this one's a little more of an athletic move than the other ones, but it does lend itself to also getting back guard. So if you don't use it, you don't use it to actually like sit out. You can use it to just get your guard back, and it works out pretty good. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like on Bob, so you can kind of have an idea of what you're looking at. Okay, so Bob's on top of me, and you want to go in this scenario. You want to go to the arm that's over your shoulder, not under, so overhook side. So in this scenario, we go like this. All right. So I was defending. Okay. I decided to come up. I'm gonna put my hand here. All right. So hand here, here. I'm gonna sit out and see how I'm up underneath Bob. In this scenario, I could have been down here. Like maybe he's got his arm around my neck. I could have been down here, right? But because of Bob, now your partner wouldn't fall over like that. I just want to throw that out there. Bob's not very stable. If I had a partner, it should be a little bit easier to see. But once you're through like that, then you can sit around. All right. Now, if you want to be a little lazy, all right, you can do the same thing, but instead of sitting through, you can sit across. Okay. So this is the variation of this for people who want to try to get back to guard or half guard, potentially. All right, so you got your opponent. They're here like this. And again, they've got the overhook on the left side and the underhook on the right side. And that's important again because you can do it to the other side, but you could get your head trapped if you do it to the other side. So if I try to go to the open side, he can go deeper in that side. So I want to go, like I said, I want to go across the body. Then instead of sitting through, I'm just going to sit in. Okay, so it kind of looks like this. So I'm here. Instead of trying to sit through, I'm actually going to grab the pants like this. And then when I go to sit, I'm just going to come up on that. And then I'm going to sit through. So instead of going, instead of going across, right? So I'm lifting this leg up to go across. I'm going to walk this so they can't go to that side. And then I'm going to step through and out like this. Okay? So pretty simple. I don't really use this move very much. I don't use either of those moves very much. So they're not my cup of tea in terms of expertise and little tiny little details. But know that both those moves are there, and they're really good for, like I said, for people who maybe want to attack the back or maybe want to go into guard. Okay, and they're all set up the same way. They're all about blocking and then bringing your legs through, getting a leg through, so you can getting a leg up, so you can get a leg through, and take back guard, take back half guard, whatever. And how you execute that is kind of up to you, but generally speaking, it's the same either way. It's the set through, and then the arm goes back. There you go. Okay. So that move right there, those moves right there, are, in my opinion, more air moves for those of you watching on YouTube. They have to do with, you know, opening up position and then sitting out through the position, and then closing it back up. So for those of you who follow my YouTube channel or watch my YouTube videos at all, or understand the way I paint jiu-jitsu, there are a multitude of ways, and hopefully you might, if you don't, you know, worst case scenario, you can watch the video that explains it better. But this is on my YouTube channel in the link that I post, the event that I post. This is an air move because you're creating space and you're taking that space, you're changing the angle and you're taking that space away. All those air moves are create space, change the angle, take space away. And there are lots of instances for that, especially with people who are flexible, who are long, who have very good dexterity. And so that's why they're not part of my repertoire, because I don't have very good dexterity. I'm strong, and I have a very good base, but I have a limited amount of dexterity and flexibility. So, but knowing those moves is real important, and knowing how to do them is real important. And if I had my choice of partner, I have a friend who's a very small guy. He'd be here to help show these moves to you guys as well. What are you gonna do? So anyway, those are your two transitions for today. Let's go over the submission that I tried to go over yesterday, and then we'll do one more as well. So the first one I want to do is the I want to say spinning loop choke. I don't say rolling loop choke, but I'll say spinning loop choke, because rolling means that you go over your shoulder. This actually, you do a spin instead. Okay. So yesterday I tried to show this move and I couldn't figure it out. I'm happy to report that some guys in my gym who it's more of their style, they were able to help me. Shout out to George Burns and Christopher Ho, two guys, brown belt and purple belt at our gym. So the move starts with a front headlock here, like this. And you're going to do exactly pretty much what I said. You're going to get that underhook, that overhook, and you're going to grab the lapel, the opposite side lapel with the same side hand. All right. So now I've got this grip here. This is what the loop part is. So anytime the hand goes under the neck like this is a loop choke. And there's some loop chokes you can do from half guard, if you set them up correctly, where you do this exact same thing, except once you get here, you like bring this hand inside, and then you just lift this up like that, and and that does your loop choke. So for this one, like I said, it's a rolling loop choke. And what you're going to do is, after you get this and you're here, you're going to reach for their pants. You're just going to duck underneath like this. So I'm going to duck down underneath, and I'm going to roll this way. There we go. That's exactly where I want to be. So I'm here, and I'm here like this. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to stretch them like this. Okay? And I find that if you get down a little lower, you get a better leverage. And if you move this way with it, with your body, you get better leverage on the choke. I can feel that tightening up. Now, that didn't seem like much in terms of, I've had people tell me to get up here like this, and this will work too. Plus, it controls their body a little better, I'd say, and you just kind of have to pull down a little bit more with your trap, or with your lat, sorry, to get this choke off this way. But this way, you can create more of a bow frame to choke them that way. So it really just depends. If you try one way and you don't get it, then try the other way. Okay, so one more time, and show that. Sorry about that. I knew Bob was going to do that someday. It's my version machine here. Okay. That home working out, right? All right, so again, just get Bob's jackets fixed here real quick. Okay. All right. So again, Bob's sitting here like this. Come in. I'm gonna go under, over, under, just like I did before. But I'm not gonna try to, and this can be done off the sprawl. So remember last time we talked about a 10-finger choke being done off the sprawl. This can also be done off the sprawl because the sprawl is gonna help straighten you, get your, I wouldn't say get your hand in the right position, but it definitely will push them down. So they feel that pressure of you on their back, so you're like this, okay? And what we like to do is we like to feed as much of that jacket as we can that direction. So you can reach underneath, pull that down, and feed that through. All right, so you reach underneath here with this, grab that jacket, and pull it down like this, and get that loop part. Okay, so that's your first part to this choke. Okay, that loop. So remember, it's going to cross the neck here, grabbing the lapel. All right, the second part is real simple. You grab the pants, usually around the knee area. So kind of try to find the bend. That's your knee. And then you're going to dive down underneath, and you're going to pull. When you pull, their head starts to come this way, and they end up in that position. Now remember, like I said, you can put your head into the body like this and try to pull the head this way to break the kind of bow and arrow, or you can get up a little bit higher and start to bring this down a little bit, and that keeps them from changing the motion off their hips. So now that I've shown that choke, let's talk about what you should be thinking about in terms of defenses, because that's the important part of all of this, right? It's always the defenses. Time check. Okay, good. So whenever you're dealing with any kind of choke that has to do with the lapel, there's two ways you can deal with it. One is you can try to break the grip, which is going to be real hard to do when you're on all fours. The preamble to that is don't let your opponent get it. All right. And if your opponent does get it, don't let them have their arm out. Okay. What I mean is that, so when I put my hands inside of, here of Bob, right? This arm right here, he can trap this arm. If he squeezes his elbow down, so if he squeezes his elbow down tight enough, he can trap this arm. I need this hand over here to get that choke. Okay, if I don't have that pant leg, when I go to roll, there's no leverage to pull him this way, right? So if I'm here, and I pull this down to get this in, right? My hand's still inside. It's real easy to trap this hand. You can just grab the hand with your same side hand like this. You can grab this, right? And it's a good idea to hold this because the next thing the first thing, remember said, the first thing is don't let them get it at all. That's number one. Number two, if they do get it, you can't pull it off. Like being able to break that off the collar, it's going to be nearly impossible. So you won't be able to pull it off. I'm not saying let me take that back. It's not that you won't be able to pull it off. It's just, like I said, it's nearly impossible to pull off. So if you have certain abilities, you might be able to pull it off. The second thing once there is trapping the arm. All right, because trapping the arm is going to give you the time you need in order to do the third thing, which is to push the head or push the arm off the head. Okay. One of the only other ways to deal with any kind of choke where your opponent has that position is to get your head out from underneath it. If I was doing a bow and arrow choke, same thing. I'm behind the head. I'm pulling this way. They need to get my arm over their head before I can get before the space is taken out. All right. Even if you get it most of the way there, you should be okay. So what I mean is that if I'm here like this, I've got this in here like this, and I'm here, this same side arm should be pushing this arm and trying to get me to go, my arm to go this way. So that I end up with my arm more over on this side. And if you get your head over here, it's done. I can't choke you with it. See how it's off? No choke there. If you get it there. So again, if I'm here and I'm underneath, but I keep this real tight, it's going to be real hard to get off. So sometimes actually, if you get here, it almost makes more sense for you to hold this hand and roll yourself. Right? I know that sounds weird, but like if I get this here and it looks like this roll is going to happen, you can roll yourself and it'll take it away. So again, if I'm here, right, and even if I'm on top and I roll this way, that's where we end up. See, I have no choke now. I might be able to transition to something else, but your top guy has no choke. So basically, I've made a mistake. I've made a couple mistakes. Now I need to go back and I need to start over and I need to reset. I need to do something different. Maybe I get here, he lets go, and then I go right back to my knees. Right? That's perfectly legitimate. Perfectly legitimate. And it's a simple way to deal with this. But I will say most of the time, if you did try to roll away, most people would kind of come back down on top of you, and then you'd need to do some of your north-south escapes that we went over when we were talking about side control escapes, because you need to know how to deal with that situation. Because I mean, honestly, in my experience, there's only one or two things that an opponent can do from you to north, or to you from north-south. They could maybe set up a Kimura if their arms are in the right place and you put your hands in the right place. That might be a thing they set up, or guillotine choke, or sorry, north-south choke, which is where I hook over the head here and I kind of scoot down and make the choke. And again, I have, I think I have video of that on YouTube. But anyway, so to review the defenses to this, step one is to just defend it, right? Your hands should be up. If their hands are coming in and grabbing stuff here, your hands should immediately be blocking anything. Like you try to get this hand inside. One of my favorite things to do sometimes is even to hold hands with somebody. So you'll notice that if I go north-south on somebody and my hands are like this, guess where my hands are? So if your hand is here like this and on this side, and my hand's here like this on this side, I can just shake your hand. If you give me that opportunity to reach in there and grab that hand, I can totally shake it. I could reach in and grab it, or I could even reach in and go past the hand, like if I'm feeling the hand and I find it and I can go and I grab the wrist, then I can do my 2-on-1 head escape. Or, there's a few other things that I could do there. The sit out, that would be a perfectly fine one if they reach in and grab right here. If you sit out, you take away that leg that they have, right? You want to get that leg. So if they sit out, you don't have that leg anymore, and they just have the loop around your head and now it's like way back here. And you sat through instead. So that's a perfectly legitimate response to this. But just generally speaking, stopping this, blocking the collar, keeping them from grabbing it, keeping a hand up, keeping your head above your collar. This is one of my favorite things to do. I don't have a very long neck. So I'll kind of like, somebody grabs my collar, I'll try to nestle into my collar like this. And then they have to re-fidget with this to try to get into my neck. Plus, again, with my size, I don't have a whole lot of lapel that you can grab around. So there's a few other things there that make it more difficult. But if you're not big like me, then it's a little easier. And you can also get your head down. I've got plenty of times when I've gone with somebody and their head's like way up here like this inside their gi to defend some of these chokes. So those are all kind of, play around with it and see how it works. I'm a big fan of getting to a submission and then letting it go, and not even letting it go like we're going to start over. Like, let it go and start from that position, you know, like, what mistake did you make? Let's keep going from there, you know, and learn from your mistakes in the moment instead of having to, you know, redo everything. And so, yeah. All right. That's all I wanted to say today. Sorry about that yesterday, but glad I could fix it for you guys. This should be up YouTube tonight or tomorrow. So if you have any questions or want to review it, check out the YouTube channel using the link that I posted, and old videos are there. Comment if you'd like. Let me know if you have any questions, or you can pop by class and see what that's all about. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks. Good one. Have a good one. Bye.